Hi, everyone. Welcome to A Better Future Starts Here, a live weekly show brought to you by the American Society for the Positive Care of Children, otherwise known as the American SPCC. I'm your host, Tracy Kawa. American SPCC is dedicated to improving the lives of children in the United States. We are America's voice for children, bringing individuals and organizations to ensure that children are raised in a safe environment so that they may thrive as children and become healthy and secure leaders of tomorrow. Our goal is to bring you perspective, knowledge, and industry experts and professionals who are dedicated to empowering children and families. With January being Human Trafficking Prevention Month, we thought it would be very timely, and we are very happy to bring our guest today, Lisa Jameson. Lisa is a director at Legal Shield. She's an advocate against human trafficking. She's been married to her husband of 43 years and has 2 grown sons. They've been blessed with 4 beautiful grandchildren who she loves spending time with. Lisa loves helping people in her legal shield business, and this business allows her to help many people have a peace of mind that's priceless and affordable for everyone. She's a believer in Christ, and it was through her church in Bloomfield, Connecticut, that she started learning about human trafficking. The undergroundct.org was started in 2013 by one of the church leaders that started this faith-based organization, and other churches in Connecticut who are also fighting against human trafficking and the exploitation of children for sex. Lisa has immersed herself in trainings. She's done fundraisings. She's spread awareness. She's passionate about eradicating this horrific and illegal underground business by teaching parents and grandparents how to spot human trafficking and abuse when it's in front of them, and how to prevent it from happening to their own children. Thank you for joining us, Lisa. What a wonderful set of credentials you have. Can you tell us a little bit about this passion of yours when it comes to protecting children and advocating for, against human trafficking? So how did this all begin for you?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on your show to spread this awareness. When I was going to events that the churches were having about the human trafficking, I really didn't have any idea that this was going on and just how bad, it was. And over time, I got to thinking, this is just horrible. And I'm learning more and more, and I'm like, I got to do something about this. I feel like God is, leading me to, talk to people, more and more people, to make them aware, because there are so many people that don't even know that this exists. And if they know it exists, they think that it's all abroad. They have no idea that it's happening here. And they just have to know. And I feel that, when they know, the awareness is going to be key.
Oh, yeah. The more people that know, the better. It's happening in our own backyards is
Yes,
essentially what it sounds like you're
it is.
saying, and we know it is. Can you tell us a little bit about how you go about advocating and spreading the awareness?
Well, at first, I just started talking to friends and family about it, and, having people pray. I belong to a women's group at church, and, we always, pray for that. And I decided I wanted to try to raise money, for the Underground Connecticut, because these organizations, they need all the money they can get, because it's all nonprofit and it's funded by the people and the churches. So I figured that would be a great way to do it. So I've done 3. A couple of them were not that successful, and I couldn't do the last one because of COVID. But plan to keep that up when everything is safe again. And so I just started posting about it on LinkedIn. I'm part of LinkedIn because, of my business. And I thought one day, I think I'm going to start, posting on LinkedIn about this. And I don't do it all the time, and I do it very respectfully. And it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, Lisa, that's actually how we met, because I
Yeah,
had seen one of your posts and I said, wow, this is an amazing public service that you're offering, because you could be posting, 24/7 about Legal Shield, which is great, but you're also, in addition, posting these human awareness public service announcements. Thank
yeah,
you for that, really, on behalf of so
you're
many
welcome.
people, that your one post might have a ripple effect, right? Somebody might hear you today and go out into the world and identify someone who's human trafficking, someone who
Right,
is abusing a child, and be a lot more aware and call the attention, to the authorities, and potentially save the life of a child, and their mental
absolutely.
stability, and we know all that goes with it.
Right.
So tell us, what can parents and caretakers do to, number one, how how can they spot human trafficking or any kind of abuse? What can they do to prevent it, or once they spot it, what can they do about it?
Well, human trafficking, is, from two different avenues. And one of them is stalking in public places, and the other avenue is through the internet. Okay.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't realize that this happens through the internet. Okay. People think it's all snatch and grab. No, we're seeing less of that. Okay.
Wow.
Now, I'm not an authority on everything, I'll tell you that right now, but I do know quite a bit. And especially since the COVID started, it has risen really high. It's risen exponentially because,
Really? You would
yes,
think that the snatch and grabs would diminish because less people are out and about.
well, it's because they do it online. Kids are
Wow.
home, they're vulnerable, they
Yes.
want to be seen, they want to be popular, and the traffickers are looking for this. They are
Oh my.
looking in all kinds of social media, everywhere: Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, you name it, TikTok, they're all there, and
Wow.
all kinds of chat rooms. And they are constantly looking 24/7 for any kind of negative words like hate or sad or parents, or this or I
Oh,
that. They're looking. And so it's just the kids have to be aware of this, and the parents have to be aware of this. Their privacy settings should be, set to the right settings so that nobody can see them. Children have to learn. Parents have to teach their kids about internet safety.
oh yeah.
It's very important.
Super
And
important.
right, and there are a lot of signs to look for. Um,
What
you
are
know,
some of the signs?
well, there's actually a
Words?
lot of signs. You can actually look for behavioral changes in your children. Are they like texting somebody and are very secretive about this person?
Mm.
Are they talking about this friend that they met online? And do they have are they getting any marks on their skin or anything? Do they see them getting more and more disheveled? The sad thing is too is that a lot of children are still living at home while they're being trafficked, and parents don't know this because the children are threatened with violence. They could either be beaten or they can be threatened, that this will happen to your friends or your family or your parents, your sister, your brother, if you say anything. And children often feel ashamed, that this has happened, and they're so scared that if they tell anybody that they won't be believed, because there are many situations where um, kids have told their parents and the parents say, no, I don't think so, because a lot of times it happens in families,
Yes.
and the
And
parents
I've
say,
heard of
no.
situations like that as well.
Yep,
I've heard of situations like that where I've heard of situations where the kids have been punished actually for
yep,
going to the people, their parents, who they are supposed to be trusting. Now, I would
exactly.
be remiss if I didn't bring up right here that we have an app that the ASPCC helps to promote, and it's called the Happy Child app. And you can find information about it on our website, aspcc.org. The reason why I'm bringing it up right now is because this app talks about connecting with your child. And I truly believe that when we connect with our children feel comfortable to come to us. They feel that they can trust us. They feel that we are open and approachable to anything that they have to say, and to explore whether, explore any claim that they come to us with. It is our responsibility as parents to make sure to dot every T, to cross, to dot every I and cross
Yep,
every T, and make sure that we check out and validate the stories that children tell us. It's our
exactly.
responsibility as caretakers. So
It is.
thank you for bringing that up.
You are absolutely right, Tracy. That's also a very, very important key, because a lot of parents, they're so busy with their lives, and they're on the phones texting all the time too. And they need to have attention paid to them. They need to be told that they love them
Yes.
unconditionally, and that there's nothing that they can't say to them that is going to ever change their mind. A lot of children, unfortunately, are very self-conscious. And a lot of the reason is because they're getting bullied at school, or even
Yes.
bullied online. They have online bullying, and parents are just too busy to spend time with their kids. And talking about strangers and trafficking should really start being talked to their kids by about 8, 9 years old. They don't necessarily have to tell them all the gory details, but to let them know in certain ways that it is not good to be friends with people that you don't know.
As
And
soon as soon as a child, Lisa, as soon as a child is old enough to be on a computer unattended where they're playing games or chatting with anyone else, first of all, as parents, it's our responsibility to know who our child is speaking to. I'm going to give you an exact example. My son was speaking with someone online, and what I did was I said, tell him to give me his mother's number. And this is someone, we're down in Florida, they're in, somewhere up north, I think New York. I
mhm,
said, let me have his mother's number now. And he gave me his mother's number, and I called up and I spoke to his mom, and the story checked out. And it was another little boy, a year older than my son. And
mhm,
I'm okay with that. And now I know who he is. But
right.
it's not okay for us to have a blind eye and to not look into and to not check out who our kids are talking to.
Yes.
And what did it take me? All of 10 minutes.
Right. Another thing to do too is it's okay to check your kids' rooms. I know it's theirs, it's their private, but if a parent has a concern, they should look. You
And what
know,
are you looking for, Lisa? What are you checking for?
you could be looking for anything like a journal, anything that's written down, maybe a matchbook, or a card from a hotel, or anything like that. These things also happen at high school parties as well. Students will recruit students, and yeah, so it's in the schools, next door neighbor. It could be anyone at any time. And if anything seems really off, then you really got to be vigilant.
You have to be vigilant. If something seems off, There's a good chance it is.
Yeah. And one thing that I had mentioned in the last podcast that I was on, and this just um, really touched me when I heard it. If children should be told that if a stranger ever comes up to them and gives them a compliment, like, oh, I love your hair, it's really beautiful, or you've got really pretty eyes, don't look down and say, oh, no, I don't, or, thank you. Look them straight in the eye and say, thank you, and smile, because they are looking for those kids who are self-confident.
In
So
other words, they're
not
looking for the kids who are self-conscious.
self-conscious,
Right.
and don't
Right.
have enough
In other words, they're
confidence.
not going to mess with the kids that are confident. They're looking for the
Not
kids.
usually,
Yeah. Wow.
right?
That's a great tip. That's a great tip.
It's simple, but it's a lot of them are out there pretending to recruit for modeling agencies,
Mm,
or maybe to sing, or
yeah. Be
a
a
record
star
agency.
overnight. I got you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they will say and do anything they can to get
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just
Fame is
very
not that
dangerous.
important when it comes to your well
Yeah.
being.
And they will also spend months grooming. And grooming is what they do online by making friends with you. They can check everything that you like online. They can study your character, what you like to do. They can see all this online, right? So they use this to get at the child, and they will groom them and make them think that this person really loves them, and that they are the only ones that they can trust, and eventually they lure them out to meet.
Wow.
And once they do that, that's it. That's it.
Boy,
So
this is really important, for all of our wonderful, amazing parents and caregivers and teachers who are listening. To our wonderful audience, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Anything that you can do to help spread the awareness, anything you can do to help identify when you think you might see some signs that someone is being trafficked or abused,
yeah.
anything you could do to help would be amazing. Thank you. Join the effort. Lisa, we really appreciate the information that you gave us today. It is so valuable. I would love for you to share with our audience a little bit about what you do, what your company does, and how you independently with your company actually help families as well.
Well, I had gotten into the company of Legal Shield, which is in Ada, Oklahoma, and they started in 1972, so it's almost a 50-year-old company. And they started out of a need, not of greed, because of an accident that the founder had back in 1969 that wasn't his fault. And he ended up in the hospital. He had life insurance, he had medical insurance, auto insurance that took care of everything.
Wow.
But the woman who hit him head on decided to sue him while he was in the hospital. And he was like, she's the one that got the ticket, but he had to defend himself regardless, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And back then it was like $3,500, and it almost bankrupted him.
Right.
And because he had to get an attorney to defend himself. Well, he did end up winning the case, but he thought this has got to be, there's got to be something we can do. So that's how Legal Shield was came to be. And what they do is they help the average person who cannot afford an attorney to be
Wow.
able to have equal access to the justice and liberty that every human being deserves and expects in a world that is often uncaring and selfish, right? So, people, when things happen to them, they don't even think about calling an attorney, because they weigh their checkbooks against their rights, and it's not possible. So They allow people to get, legal advice, unlimited legal advice, to, read contracts and documents whenever you buy
Mm,
something or sign something. It doesn't matter
wow.
whether it's a cell phone agreement or you're buying a car or a house or whatever.
Okay.
You have that access. Plus, they will write letters and make phone calls on your behalf, which usually are somewhere between $400 to $1,000, right?
Wow.
Just even do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And they also will do your will, living will, and
Oh, how
healthcare power
great.
of attorney. And they also will help you in traffic court for,
So such a wide range of services, traffic
there
court,
are,
wills, letters, maybe collections, any kind of
yeah,
legal advice. That's wonderful.
yep, they
Thank
have
you
it
so
for
much.
families, individuals, families, businesses, employees,
Yeah.
truck drivers. And, it's great to be able to get this without paying the high hourly cost. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
how much better can it be?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
It's definitely important. It's needed, a needed
yes.
service.
And we also have identity theft too, which also monitors your social media. And
Okay.
yes, and it does alert you when there is something on it that's inappropriate. Because one thing I will say is that kids will say things on social media, even adults will say things without a second thought to how this is going to damage them later
Mm-hmm.
in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because now we have employers that are looking at
Oh yeah.
prospective, um, hires, online to see what they're like. And when they,
Employers, you have schools,
yep,
colleges, universities, right?
exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
believe me, there are a lot of people who can't get into colleges or get a job. And there's many, people who have been trafficked.
Wow.
They're out of the life and better, and they can't get into college. They can't get into school. And
Wow.
a lot of children are even still being arrested for prostitution in different states.
Oh my.
Yep, yep, absolutely.
Are you tying that back into the human trafficking or just in general on their own?
No, this is the truth.
Wow.
And I
So,
did, go ahead. Sorry.
no, 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 it's okay. Tell me what were you going to say?
Well, I just wanted to read something that I think that people really need to hear and
Sure.
let it sink in. Okay. Youth in the life, and the life is the trafficking life. They call it the life. Okay.
Oh,
Are often brutally raped on a daily basis. Think of the impact that one rape has on the life of a person. Imagine the impact of 1,000. In a year's time, 15 days per year, 20 buyers per night, 63,000, no, it's 100, sorry, 6,300 buyers in less than a year for one person. That's got to sink into people. It really does. People have got to take this seriously.
that is horrific.
Yes, it is.
Horrific. And the law needs to crack down on human traffickers. So,
They do. And it is starting to happen,
yeah.
but it's got a long way to go. People are trying to get, policemen, medical professionals trained. And a lot of professionals, they see this and they don't even know it. And it's just sad that so many children are being arrested, and not only for prostitution, but for crimes committed while they were being trafficked.
That's what I was asking before. In other words, it's
Okay, I'm
the
sorry.
yeah, yeah. So crimes that they're committing and being while being human trafficked and arrested for, so they're being arrested for what they're being forced to do. So let me just,
Exactly.
clarify that.
But they're also being arrested for just prostitution. But if there's other crimes, they get, that too. And there are many,
Got it.
many kids or women or even men who have gone to prison. And the sad thing is, too, is the buyers and the traffickers walk away. They had very little chance of getting caught. They'll walk away and prostitute. gets arrested and sent
Yeah.
to prison. That's just a
Well,
sick.
that's where the system needs to change. And that's going to be a show for another day. And we so appreciate you being on, A Better Future Starts Here. And
Mhm.
just your bringing awareness, your fighting for, justice and liberty, not only in Legal Shield, but in your passionate advocacy work against human trafficking.
Yeah,
Where can someone find you if they want to know more?
they could email me at Lisa Jameson, and that's Jameson, the number 22 at gmail.com.
Okay, that's Lisa Jameson, Jameson 22 at gmail.com.
Yes,
Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today, for sharing. It's a shame that we have to have a conversation about this, and it's a necessary conversation.
it is.
So, thank you to our listeners for listening as well. Um, if you are a struggling parent or caregiver, know that you're not alone. To access more positive parenting resources like you just heard, you may visit our Learning Center at americanspcc.org. Thanks to our viewers, donors, supporters, we have provided over 5 million parents, teachers, caregivers with the tools needed to help children build a brighter future. I'd like to remind everyone once again, you know how I love my Happy Child app. So please visit americanspcc.org and download the Happy Child app. It's a free app. I've been using it myself. It's been researched by a team of PhDs, including psychiatrists, neurologists. It's a wonderful gamification tool that teaches us in very short snippets how the chemicals in our brains work and how they respond to triggers within relationships. Once we learn how our brains work, we'll be able to harness these lessons, alerts, and insights in order to build deeper and more meaningful relationships with our children. If you'd like to contribute to the conversation, or if you know someone uplifting children or families in your community, we'd love to hear from you. Please contact us at info at americanspcc.org. That's info at americanspcc.org. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Let's make a difference together. Visit us at americanspcc.org to learn how you can help. And remember, a better future starts right here. Thank you.